Hi, welcome to Think Human. I'm Chris, and in this video I want to do a kind of logical exercise for and against God, and I thought that I will try and make a few of these videos and see how it goes. Essentially what I will be doing is, first in this video I would argue for the existence of God. I will bring some common examples and a way that I would sort of, if I were to try and convince someone of the existence of God, how I guess I would do it, and also the opposite, how I would argue against the existence of God, where God would not be needed or something like that. Really important thing to mention is that what I will say next about the belief in God, existence in God, trying to prove God in some kind of way, this is in no way what I actually believe. So the following that I say is not actually truth to me. This is just something that I would say really important. Also, I wish to offend absolutely no religious people. In the later on in the video we will discuss a bit more about this, but I absolutely do not mean to offend anyone. If you believe in God, great. If it brings joy to your life, makes you a better human being, that is absolutely wonderful. I just talk about this kind of personified God and some concepts and how it might be possible. So please, here we go. Okay, so the world that we live in is incredible. All the complexity and beauty of the natural world, human beings, beautiful, almost perfect beings, the vast animal world, all of the plants and animals and beings and life forms in these complex ecosystems, everything on this planet. And this planet that gives us life and sustains life for billions of years, millions and millions of years, that it can give life to us. And this beautiful vast cosmos that we live in, that is infinitely complex and so beautiful and configured in just a way that it allows us to exist, life to exist. How anyone could say that this is not made by a creator, I could not understand. All that we see around us is in perfect harmony, everything works exactly perfectly, so that we could be here, we as human beings could witness this. Inside all of us, we know these moments of profound deep beauty, of either connection with the natural world or connection with other human beings. These profound beautiful moments of awe that make us truly wonder what it is to be a human being, and this feeling in our heads that even though, life is tough and difficult or whatever, but in the most beautiful moments, and even in everyday normal life, we have this consciousness, this awareness. You could call it the soul if you want. We have this thing, and this is something that is very, very special. I believe that this is something that we all have in common, and this is something that connects us all together. To me, it's just obvious when I look around the world and all that we have, everything that has to be just right, that we could survive. To me, it's clear that there is a God. Otherwise, what's the point? You have this vast universe that we now learn due to scientific discoveries. What point would there be in the nearly infinite universe if there was no life here to observe it? If the universe was dead and quiet, what would be the point of that? And all of this incredible, amazing complexity. Fuck, I just... I thought that I can do it, really. But I just can't. It just sounds so stupid. Like, I really thought that I could do it, but I can't make any rational arguments for believing in God, other than that we find ourselves in a place that is very special. Indeed, it's true that it's very strange that we live in a universe and in a planet that allows life to kind of keep going. That it's even possible for life to exist. That it's even possible for stars and planets to exist. People are starting to talk about this more. That it's quite strange that anything even exists. And even life, like, we take it so for granted. We are so used to it. We are so used to life being here, and we are so used to being human beings in this crazy civilization of the 21st century with all of our technology, and we walk around thinking that this is normal, which it like so is not normal. But for this to be possible, so many other things had to happen, and so many laws of physics had to be exactly right for this to be able to happen. So That is one argument that I would make. Of course, a reasonable explanation for it would be that we live in a multiverse, and in fact there is an infinite amount of universes in some kind of even bigger, vaster space, for lack of a better word, I guess. And there are infinite number of these universes, and of course we just happen to be in one where we can exist. If universe was not capable of keeping life and sustaining life, then we wouldn't be here to think how strange it is. For every one universe that does sustain life, there might be millions and billions of ones that sustain no life. But it's also interesting to think about the possibilities of combinations of laws of physics and new laws of physics that we could not even imagine, that could give rise to life that would be beyond alien, incomprehensible, life forms in maybe many more dimensions than we live in. We in our, third dimensional space and one dimensional time, or two dimensional time? Yeah, one dimensional time, where, we can just go back and forth. Well, not back and forth, we can just go forth. We don't have much choice about it. Interesting to think, kind of going off topic, but I was thinking about this one time, and it's really interesting, at least to me, that if you had a four-dimensional creature, four-dimensional being, then they could move in time as freely as we move in space. So we can move in space in all, all the spatial directions, front, back, side to side, up and down, everything in between of that. And we're free to go in every direction. But we can only move in one direction in time, only one limited narrow direction in time. But if you were a four-dimensional being, then you could move in time with the same freedom that we move around in three dimensions. And I thought that that's just a fascinating idea to think about. Incomprehensible to us because we only experience time in a certain way, but you can maybe get some glimpses of what that would look like or what that would be like. It's fascinating to think about. Anyway, so I'm sorry that I wasn't as good as making an argument for the existence of God. I really wanted to do it, and I thought that I will do a better job at it. I used to be religious when I was younger, and it's an incredible feeling that you get when you have faith. It's an incredible empowering feeling when you have something to believe in. It truly is. There is no way to defend it or no way to rationalize it other than the only thing is what you feel inside. And that is no scientific proof or explanation to anyone that they would trust, except other religious people or people who are looking for God or want to believe in something like that. So if I were to ever, that would never happen, but if I were to ever want to convince someone of the existence of God, I would say pretty much the selection argument that we live in a special configuration in this universe, and just beauty and wonder and complexity of the world around us, which is true, which of course you can explain with natural selection and evolution, but that's a bit too much for religion. But the funny thing is that the further we have gone with scientific discoveries, religious people, at least reasonable religious people, accept more and more and more of the truth. Like, the earth is not 4,000 years old. Every reasonable, even medium smart religious person understands this. That we have so much overwhelming proof. You can't just have your head in the sand. You just have to face some of the facts. The earth is not the center of the universe, all of these kind of things. And we move on and on and on, and basically at first you needed God to explain a lot of these things, but now they're all explained. So there is nothing left for God to do anymore, except for the realm of souls and consciousness. I'm not here to tell anyone, if God exists or not. Absolutely not. And maybe for you it gives tremendous, incredible faith and belief and improves your life, and that is absolutely wonderful. But we should not get blinded by that. And there are many different ways to believe in God. One ridiculous example would be this personalized vision of God, that God is an actual kind of being with a personality. God gets angry at you or mad at you when you do something evil, and God is happy and grateful when you do something good. This is really childish idea. Like I said before, somewhere in the past videos, if God truly exists in this personified form, then God has way more human intellect, way beyond human intellect and reason and empathy and understanding, that God would never send anyone to hell, because God would understand perfectly what made you do the bad, evil deeds that you did, that would otherwise make you go to hell. You know, if you killed someone, God could trace exactly all of the steps back. What happened in your childhood, if you had bad genetics, you know, the environment you grew up in, all of the pushes and pulls of the environment and things that happen around you every second and moment and every day up to the point where you killed someone. God would see that path and forgive you, because it's understandable. It's so simple. It's cause and effect. There's no one really to blame for anything, really, if you truly think about it. But that's a topic maybe for another time, that if you truly understand everything that's going on in a person's past history, in their neurochemistry, there is no basis for blame, really. There is no basis for revenge or none of that. We're still human beings. So in practical terms, it still makes sense for, you know, some amount of revenge and some amount of you know, feeling bad and feeling good about these things and all of that. It makes sense in our human world. But if you really think about it and are honest intellectually, you know, it's not the serial killer's fault that they were born to be this person who will become a serial killer. It is not some really good person's own merit or own choice that they're born in a way, that they're born as a person who will end up being this good person who will do these good deeds in the world. It is not on them, but we take credit for all of it. It's like you get compliments for your appearance or something, and you know, you might say thank you, but what are you really saying thank you for? I mean, people being nice, sure, yeah, but you can't really take credit for, you know, if something looks nice about you or something, or some personality trait. Personality traits arguably more, because that is something that you can arguably change. But now we might go into territory of free will and all of that, and that is a big topic to handle as well. But we were talking about God. I think it's not difficult. I already made a case against God as well. I'm sorry that the video didn't end up really being the way that I planned it to be, but sometimes, you know, really good things happen that way without planning often. But against God, of course, I would say all of the scientific stuff. What I wanted to mention before as well, so I mentioned briefly that there are many ways of thinking about God, and this kind of personified God with an ego, this is a ridiculous concept, and I don't know if anyone truly believes in that. But the concept of people deserving to go to hell or deserving to go to heaven will disappear away, because it's just so absurd if you think about it a bit deeper. It's easy to get it wrong, but it's also easy to understand it once you think about it. It's so easy to argue against God. I mean, at least traditional concepts of God, that, you know, I guess I covered it at least a little bit. So I hope there was something interesting here for you. If you have any thoughts, please share them in the comments, and of course, thank you so much for watching, and take care.